I rank where the view is nothing less than phenomenal. For how I express and project from my abdominal. The only view better, both my daddy and my mama know. No living parents, my sons give me balance. My wife is my serenity, this mic is my identity. The world is foul enough, that's why I write without obscenities. Provoking danger with broken language and spoken anguish. Begging to get hurt, why would you ask to go through changes? Yes, Lord, life's a chessboard, master the angles. Control the tempo, be the one who holds the info. Acknowledge is just as deadly as machete swings. When spoken, the truth is as potent as that Medellin. While others swear the style is free, I just let it ring. Our time is undervalued, soldiers make us better kings. My fans on my shoulder, reaching after better things. Today I take the shot, for them I'd rather set the screen.
My mama told me follow my dreams. My daddy told me get it by any means. Stand tall, make him bow to a king. But I've evolved, you can see the resolve. Look in my eyes when you speaking to God.
Life and for those who we caught up in using what I was called with the muse. I guess they call it proving I'm more than an artist. Penciling out my darkest while stenciling out a harvest. And storing what gets me from A to B, just like garages. Instrumental with collages. Envision what I've been drawing. Broadway to give you rhythm like the great Lena Horne. So bent on, found comfort in the storm. Find peace and on when you see them others perform. Organized chaos, outcasted like hey ya.
Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? It's the number one Chief Rock and Knicks universe, your main man, Uncle Freezy. And welcome to the Knicks Morning Drive, the premier Knicks and the Morning Time show. Salute everybody watching. Salute everybody on X. Salute everybody on YouTube. Salute everyone watching us on Twitch. Salute. Let's see who we have in the spot. Let's see who we got out here. We got Ala Wise is in the house. Okay. Chef NYK is in the house. Okay. I see you, boss. Yeah, man. Andios is in the building. Salute, Andios. Salute. Shout out. Fritz Alcindor is in the building. Justo. Some dude named Uncle Freezy is in the building. Salute to Uncle Freezy watching on Twitch. So, salute. Some of y'all not gonna get that, but yeah, salute. Salute Justo. Coach is in the building. Salute. Yeah, man. So I'm coming through. I had a thought. I wanted to share it with everybody. I just wanted to share a few thoughts with everybody today. I know there are a lot of things going on out here. A lot of rumor, and this is that time of the year. This is the time of the year for clickbait and workout videos and a bunch of other things. Silk Sutton in the building. The son of the legend Kerry Cox is in the house. Salute. The New York Knicks is in the building. Salute. Yo, this is that time of the year for a bunch of conjecture and a bunch of everything. But honestly, what I'd like to just get right to is how Mikal Bridges is the perfect fit for this team in several ways. Mikal Bridges is a perfect fit for this team, the way this team is built, right? Not just the rosters. Sherwin, what's good, boss? Mikal Bridges is not just a great roster fit, but he's a great role fit. He's a great personality fit. and we can get to the other things. There are some other things, some deep basketball stuff I want to get into also. So Mikal Bridges, I should probably have written this down. I write so much stuff down, and then when I turn this mic on, I have so many other thoughts racing through my head. I gotta kind of pace myself. I'm gonna pull up a document so that I can stay on track. So Bridges is a great roster fit, personality fit, scheme fit. Let's just start there. Let's start with the personality fit. Let's start with the personality fit and why personality fits matter. Hey, boss. So let's start with the personality fit. We already know about the connections and who he's friends with and things of that sort. We already understand the Nova connection, right? We already understand the Nova connection, so we don't have to beat a dead horse, so to speak. But in my opinion, it goes beyond the Nova Boys thing. I think Mikal Bridges is the type of cat that can fit in a number of different situations with any team. I felt like watching him from a distance that the relationship he developed with Cam Johnson, the relationship that he developed with Cam Johnson, I think was a great fit. I mean, I'm sorry, not a great fit, but it goes to show you that just because you went to, it goes to show some guys just can fit in anywhere. It goes to show you that some guys just can fit in anywhere. And I think Mikal Bridges is that type of guy, like super confident in what he can do, but he can just about fit in anywhere, except Brooklyn, because Brooklyn's a mess. Right? So when I initially, and listen, sometimes I have thoughts. Yo, Hinton Murphy in the building, salute. Barry was good. I see you. My thing with Mikal Bridges is initially from a basketball perspective, I didn't understand how he would fit with Julian Blum is in the building. Salute, JB. Just Knicks is in the building. King Ribby in the building, fresh out the shower. So I didn't understand the basketball fit between Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and Dante DiVincenzo. Because playing one way when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, and then playing another way when you're 25, 26, could be two different things. And I think they are at this point. Pastor Jay is in the building. Salute. When I first heard the trade, I was excited to get Mikal Bridges, but I was more excited about his fit on the roster. The personality fit, right? And hear me out on this, because we don't speak to this much. We don't speak to these type of things much. But I'm gonna speak to this. I'm gonna put this out in the open, and this is gonna be one of the talking points I'm gonna mention and talk about going forward. Mikal Bridges, personality-wise, is less like Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. Personality-wise, from what I've seen, and maybe I'm wrong, and feel free to correct me like y'all usually do. Personality-wise, I feel like he's more like Julius Randle and OG Anunoby. Right? Personality-wise, I'm not going to say he's quiet, but I'm going to say he's low-key. Like Randle. Randle's not necessarily quiet, but his personality is more low-key. He only talks when people talk to him, basically. OG Anunoby is low-key. Like he only speaks when people speak to him. And maybe I'm wrong, but I've been watching this kid for a while. And to me, he doesn't present that Josh Hart type personality that's going to walk up to Reggie Miller and say, "Hey, Reggie Miller, they saying such and such about you here in the Garden." Right? He only speak when he's spoken to. It's just low key. Don't mean he's not confident, and it don't mean he's not. It doesn't mean he's shy or anything like that. Don't mean he's shamefaced or anything like that. It just means he's more of a personality type like Julius Randle and OG Anunoby. Well, why is that important? Why is that important? Well, over the years, what I've noticed is that people that are low key and keep to themselves, they value that in themselves and they value that in others. Right? They value that. If you can imagine having a roster full of extroverts, if you can imagine a roster full of extroverts, as a matter of fact, most of the people in our organization, from Leon Rose all the way down, are mainly low-key personalities that work really hard and try to provide value in a team concept. JJ's in the building. Salute. JJ says Nets GM said Bridges didn't request a trade. Yeah, bro, he cleansing the palate, bro. He got to do that. That's PR. He's got to do that for the sake of the Nets organization, bro. He didn't tell me he wanted to go to the crosstown rivals. He would never value the crosstown rivals over us. He's got to say that, bro. He's got to say that, because if it gets out, if that story ever catches legs, that people in Brooklyn are leaving for the Knicks, that nobody would ever go to the Nets ever again. And the Knicks have officially won the city outright if that ever gets validated. Just wanted to address that real quick, but back on the Mikal Bridges point, the humility part. Yo, son from Brooklyn, what's good? Back to the low key part, right? The low key part of this. has Knicks fans super confident that all these guys who are great NBA players can play together. Right? It just means if you can imagine, because what happens is when you get a bunch of players this talented playing together, all it takes is for 2 or 3 extrovert personalities to turn it into a grease fire. That's all it takes. All it takes is for Kyrie Irving to say anti-Semitic stuff while James Harden is in the strip club and Kevin Durant is on social media on burner accounts. And before you know it, the whole house of cards fall down. That's all it takes. When you have multiple great players on a team, all it takes is for 2 or 3 extra and this is beyond basketball talent, right? This is the people portion is what I'm referring to. The people portion is what I'm referring to, right? All it takes is for 2 or 3 extra large egos to rock the boat. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Now, by adding Mikal Bridges, you're adding a top 60 NBA player. And listen, I don't want to argue where he falls in the top 60. If you say he's 39, if you say he's 28, if you say he's top 10, I don't care. Because that's not the most important. That's not the most important part. The most important part is he's a top 60 player. If you think he's number 60, if you think he's number 1, if you think he's somewhere in between, we don't want to argue that. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the talent level. When you add a top 60 player to a roster that may have already had 3 top 60 players, now you're talking about a team, if you just throw the basketball up without personalities, a team that can win an NBA championship in short order. Right? A team with 4 top 60 talents on it should be able to win a championship in short order. None other is in the building. And when you think about how many teams have 4 top 60 players, the list is short, right? The list is short. The list is very short of teams that have 2 top 60 players. The list is even shorter with teams that have 3 top 60 players. The list becomes minuscule when you consider teams that have 4 top 60 players. And the Knicks may have 4 top 60 players. And I know how some people feel about Randall. They'll say, hey, I don't know, man, Randall, man, Randall this, Randall that. Randall's a 3-time NBA All-Star in the last 5 seasons. 2-time All-NBA in the last 5 seasons. Randall's top 60. OG Anunoby. You've seen it close up. Whether you felt like OG Anunoby was top 60 when he was in Toronto, as a Knicks fan, you've seen OG Anunoby close up. You've seen OG Anunoby's impact close up with your own eyes. As a Knicks fan, you saw OG Anunoby leave a lottery team and gets all the shackles and bridles taken off of him where he can go play. You've seen the shackles taken off of OG Anunoby from a lottery team looking to move up in the draft. You've seen it. What players do when they're out of a bad situation? The Knicks were a good team before they got OG Anunoby. And then they added OG Anunoby. And then you see what OG Anunoby is. So if you don't think OG Anunoby is a top 60 player, what I'm going to ask you to do is think about, has OG Anunoby been a top 60 player since January 1st? And I am going to say yes. If you disagree, that's fine. Because, I don't want to, my thing is, I don't want to come in and argue about, what player is good and what player is not. The main thing I'm saying is Mikal Bridges is the perfect fit for the Knicks, because what things outside of what happens in between the lines makes him a perfect fit. All the concerns that we have about what could disrupt the Knicks apple cart, so to speak, are addressed by Mikal Bridges. Right? Here's one of them. Or another one. Here's another one. The Knicks have been hit by a rash of injuries. Right? The injury bug has been on the Knicks for the past 3 seasons. Starting in the Kemba Walker year, when Kemba, Derrick Rose, R.J. Barrett, Quentin Grimes, Julius Randle, when everybody was hurt. The season 3 years ago, the 38-43 season, or whatever the record was, the 37-50, whatever the record was, 38, whatever it was. That season, injuries ravaged the Knicks. Then last year against Miami, the Knicks were injured. Bam Adebayo dove on Quickly's ankle, had him out the rest of Game 5 and Game 6. Quentin Grimes with the shoulder injury. Jericho Sims out for the playoffs with the shoulder injury. Julius Randle with the double ankle, bruised sternum, and sprained wrist. Mitchell Robinson with the hip flexor injury, where he had to wear that long. Y'all remember when Mitch was wearing that long leg sleeve in the playoffs? Remember that? When Mitch was wearing that long leg sleeve? And then last year, Randall, OG, Mitch, Bogey, Burks, and even in the playoffs, Josh Hart with the abdominal tear, and a lot of others. Deuce McBride's foot. We were wondering why Deuce couldn't guard TJ McConnell, and come to find out that man was playing through an injury. So how do you address being ravaged by injuries the last 3 seasons? You go out and get a guy notorious for staying healthy. You go get a guy from Brooklyn that's notorious for staying healthy. Perfect fit. You needed a versatile wing player that's notorious for staying healthy and playing at a high level. That's how he fits. Ivory 10 is in the building. Salute. Smitty in the building. None other was good. Still Knicks fans is in the building. That's how Mikal Bridges is a perfect fit on that level, right? But the thing is being available is not good enough, right? Not for a championship level team. Not for a championship level team. Being available is not good enough. You have to add something. There has to be more of a value add for a guy that's coming into a championship level team. Well, what is that value add? That value add is defensive flexibility. T. Williams in the building. Salute. The defensive flexibility that Mikal Bridges brings to a New York Knicks team that values defensive flexibility is, in theory, a match made in heaven. Mikal Bridges can guard 1 through 3 and some small fours. OG Anunoby can guard 2 through 4 and some really small fives, some Paul Reed sized fives. Josh Hart can guard 2s and 3s. Dante can guard 1s and 2s and some very small 3s. Deuce McBride can guard 1s and 2s. Mitch can guard 5s, very stiff 4s, or very big 4s, right? Mitch can guard all 5s and very large 4s, like Chet Holmgren, like Karl Anthony Towns. He can guard those types of 4s. Mitch can guard 4s like Anthony Davis. Mitch can guard 4s like Giannis. Very big 4s. Man, you win some, you lose some, right? When you start talking about elite named 4s, you win some, you lose some. But what happens when you have the defensive flexibility and a Mikal Bridges on the odd night where OG Anunoby is gonna say miss a weekend, right? Say you play Friday night and Sunday night, and OG Anunoby say gets hurt Wednesday and he won't be back until Tuesday, the following Tuesday, and you have a Thursday night game and a Sunday night game, right? You can easily Mikal Bridges at the 3, Dante at the 2. And while you will miss OG Anunoby, you won't miss him in the long term. You won't miss him in the long term. Say someone gets in foul trouble in game. Say Dante is in foul trouble. Say Dante has 3 fouls through 2 quarters. Or in the second quarter. Say the referee is blowing the whistle all crazy. And it happens. It happens. We see it all the time. Whether it's to us or to whomever. You can still have your Bridges, Hart, OG wing combination. Will you miss Dante DiVincenzo's 3-point shooting? Of course you will. Most teams don't have multiple guys that can shoot it like that. Dante DiVincenzo is a 3-point sniper and wing defender. He's a perfect fit. The perfect fit. So what happens when teams are saying, hey, listen, Brunson's killing us right now. Brunson's got 18 points through a quarter and a half. Right? Brunson's got 18 points. He's at the free throw line with the possibility of making it 20 points. And it's still 8 minutes left in the second quarter. And they decide to blitz Brunson every time he touches it. Good. That's what we want. We want you to put 2 defenders on 1 offensive player so that Randall, OG, and Mikal Bridges can see on average less than 1 defender, right? So 1, maybe somebody zoned up. I know less than 1 sounds weird, right? But just bear with the basketball thought, right? Don't think about the number. Think about the basketball thought. If 2 are on 1, that means 3 are on 4, right? And 3 divided by 4 is less than 1. That means either somebody is wide open or the defense is zoning up the rest of the floor. In basketball terms. That means somebody is absolutely wide open. Somebody is absolutely wide open, or the team is zoning up behind their blitz. That's what that means. That's what that means. That means an all-star behind that blitz is going to be in a one-on-one, or you have OG or Mikal Bridges or whoever is going to be left wide open. He's a perfect fit. He's a perfect fit. So now you have a guy that fits in seamlessly to everything that the Knicks like to do, right? Or that the Knicks need. A versatile, flexible, dominant defensive player that can play make, who's durable, and is the perfect personality archetype for a team that has multiple stars. Ms. Michelle is in the building. Salute. It's the perfect seamless fit. As basketball fans, I think you guys have seen. Oh, Miguel P is in the building. Salute. As basketball fans, I think we've all seen where teams try to load up with a big three, a big four, a big five, and it doesn't work because the personalities don't fit, right? Or there's multiple duplicitous roster acquisitions, right? Where you have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, right? Or you have Russell Westbrook and James Harden. Or you have Kyrie Irving and James Harden. And it doesn't work. Because to enjoy one person's superpowers, you have to take away another star's superpowers and ask him to do something different. In this case, everybody's OG Anunoby. In this case, OG Anunoby superpowers stay activated. Mikal Bridges superpowers stay activated at all times. Julius Randle's superpowers stay activated at all times. Jalen Brunson's superpowers stay activated at all times. Because what these players are able to do when on and off and away from the basketball. 19 comment NYC is in the building. It's why Mikal Bridges is the perfect fit. Regardless what happens going forward with the roster acquisition, it won't affect OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, or Jalen Brunson. Because all of their superpowers accentuate each other. And how I know this to be true, I want to jog your memory, right? I want to jog your memory. Reggie Bullock is in a press conference, and the reporter asked Reggie Bullock about their new big three. And Julius Randle, who's sitting beside him, now maybe you'll remember this or maybe you won't, right? Maybe you'll remember this or maybe you won't. But Reggie Bullock is asked about a big three. Hey, Reggie, you know, the new big three and blah, blah, blah. And Reggie Bullock stumbles like, the big, the big three. And Julius Randle sitting beside him is like, nah, it's a big 15. Maybe you'll remember that. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll remember that. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll remember that. Maybe you won't. Maybe you won't remember when Julius Randle said, nah, it's a big 15. I know that was years ago. Why Mikal Bridges is the perfect fit for the Knicks is because not just the personality fit, not just the injury fit or injury mitigation fit, right? The lineup, the injury mitigation part of it, that type of fit. Not because of his defensive flexibility, not because of his secondary and tertiary playmaking ability, but because of all those things together and what they provide. Cowboy Bob is in the building. Salute. Cowboy Bob in the building. Now that I have that out of my system, people have been asking me how I feel or what I feel like are the Knicks' chances of winning a championship going forward. Chat, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask a bunch of Knicks fans for their honest opinion. I'm going to ask you your honest opinion. How do you feel the Knicks 2025 NBA season is going to end? How do you feel that the Knicks 2025 season is going to end? Y'all let me know. Put it in the chat. Listen, and this is not for record. I'm just asking a question, right? I don't do the keep receipts thing because I feel like my stance is when somebody is provided with more information, quality information, y'all are allowed to change your stance, right? You're allowed to change your stance. Like if you like, for instance, 19 comment NYC 84 says 57 wins and third seed, right? But what if the Celtics slip on a banana peel, the Sixers slip on a banana peel, and the Knicks are completely healthy? Thank you. Does that change your 57 win projection? Does that change your third seed projection? If the banana peel that the Knicks have been slipping on all of a sudden goes to Boston, do you think the Knicks, just honestly, do you think the Knicks will win more than 57 games if Boston gets the banana peel in October? I see 69 wins, 55 wins in Eastern Conference. Cowboy Bob says 53 wins. Nick Yak says, with a chance to win a chip, the best team don't always win a chip. Ask Boston last week. Yeah, okay. 55 to 58 wins. So I want to do an exercise with you. I want to do an exercise with you. And I saw somebody do it on Twitter. And so shout out to that person. I saw somebody do this on Twitter, and I want to do it with y'all. And before people think I'm biting, no, I'm not biting. I actually shouted out that person and asked permission to do this because it was their idea, and we don't like stealing ideas. We don't like stealing ideas. I don't like stealing ideas, but it was so dope. I asked permission to do it. This person, and I forget, I think it's NYK on Twitter that did it. And I don't know. Let me see here if I can do. So basically, what I'm going to do is list. Basically, what I'm going to do is list. So Sherwin lists the Vegas odds. But Sherwin, I was asking for your opinion though. All right, Sherwin says 62 wins. Okay, I got you. So what I want to do is this. What you see is a list of the top 20 players, right? You see 1 through 9 right now, but the list goes to 20. Right? So it's 20, but we're at the top. We're up here in the top 20, right? And what I want you to do, yo, Nice is in the building. Christy is in the building. Salute. What I want you guys to do is list the top 20 Boston Celtics and New York Knicks in order of the best player. And be honest. Corey Lee is in the building. Salute. What I want you to do is list the player. Like, I want you to list the top 20 players of a combined New York Knicks and Boston Celtics roster. That's what I want you to do right now. Get your mind right. So here's my question. Who is the best player? Who is the best player on the Boston Celtics? And no, Sherwin, not all time. Right now, not all time. Right now, current rosters. No, current rosters, man. Current rosters. Who is the best player on both teams right now? Is it Jason Tatum? Is it Jaylen Brown? Is it Jalen Brunson? Is it Julius Randle? If you combine rosters, who is the best player between the Boston Celtics? Who's the best player on the Boston Celtics and New York Knicks? Of both. combined, I'm going to say the best player going forward is a Boston Celtic. Going forward, I think it's Jason Tatum. That's what I think. I'm going to do this so that we can make it easy for those that are trying to get the hang of what we're doing. For those that are trying to get the hang of what we're doing. The second best player, in my opinion, is Jalen Brunson. All right. Now you see how this goes, right? Who is the third best player who's the third best player left? Is it Jaylen Brown? Is it Jaylen Brown? I'll give them Jaylen Brown. How do you spell Jalen's name? Is it? And Jason has a Y in it, right? Jay. And this is that right? Is that how you spell J? That doesn't seem right. Jaylen Brown. Is it? That doesn't look right. Oh, Jaylen. Okay. All right, I got you. All right. Who's the fourth best player remaining from both teams? I got to go with the obvious. The obvious is Julius Randle. Here is where things get interesting, right? Here is where things get interesting, right? Oh, let me do. Who is better of the remaining players? Is it Porzingis? Is it Derek White? Is it Drew Holiday? Is it OG Anunoby? Is it Mikal Bridges? Is it Mikal Bridges? Is it Kristaps Porzingis? I think somebody read my mind, right? So I'm gonna do. I know this is gonna be controversial, but I'm gonna say the next two best players are Knicks players. Then I'm gonna say Boston. I think Derek White is a better player at this point than Drew Holiday. And I have a wild Kristaps Porzingis take that I'm gonna add, and it has nothing to do with my like or dislike of Kristaps Porzingis. I just think it's a So, if you look at the top 6 players on our list, the Knicks have 4 of them. Right? And in the number 9 spot, I'm going to add Josh Hart. Then I'm going to add hey, y'all bear with me as as I add this, right? So where's my bar at? Where's my scroll bar? There it is. All right. So this is what I have so far, right? And at first, when I ask everybody this, before I got to this point, right? People were telling me that it's going to be a dog walk by Boston. Right? But then when you actually do the list, you're like, oh, wait a minute. This is not a dog walk. The Knicks may indeed be the better team and have the better roster. So I'm just going to take I'm going to take a quick break from this and explain to you guys why I have Porzingis so far down on my list. And the reason why I have Porzingis so far down on my list, I think he is the direct benefactor of playing with Tatum and Brown. If Porzingis was on his own team, if he were, say if Porzingis played with the Washington Wizards, say if Porzingis played with the Washington Wizards, would he be that great? And also, Porzingis missed 35 games this season, 25 regular season games, and 10 postseason games. Right? I'm gonna call out my guy, still Knicks fans, because I'm not gonna say Ron is scared. I'm not gonna say Ron is scared because I respect Ron, right? I'm gonna say he's nervous about Porzingis, and I'm gonna bring up a fact that makes Ron less nervous. Porzingis missed 35 games this season. And in those 35 games, the Boston Celtics are 29-6. In the 35 games Porzingis missed, 25 in the regular season, 10 in the postseason. In all those games he missed, the Boston Celtics are 29-6. How can Porzingis be a difference maker when he doesn't make a difference? These are not just things I made up. You can check for yourself on ESPN.com. Go to ESPN.com. Check out when Porzingis missed his first game when he became injured. Scroll through and count their wins and losses why he was out. Or you can go to StatMuse and ask the Boston Celtics record with Kristaps Porzingis injured. And for that reason, I have the Boston Celtics, Kristaps Porzingis at 10. I think Josh Hart provides more than a Kristaps Porzingis provides for the Boston Celtics. And here's my thing. Here's my thing, right? If Josh Hart were to get injured, would the Knicks miss something? Absolutely. If Porzingis gets injured, do the Celtics miss anything? No, they were 29-6 without him. They were 29-6 without Porzingis. So in theory, the idea of Porzingis means he should be probably slotted somewhere between Randall and Mikal Bridges. But the reality of Kristaps Porzingis means he's nestled right where he should be. He's right where he should be, barely making the top 10. Boston is 29-6 without Kristaps Porzingis. And one could say that they probably win a championship without him anyway. Probably. Ron says, I hear you. However, your argument can apply to Knicks players as well. Some might say Hart, Dante, and even Randall are direct benefactors of Jalen Brunson's success. Okay, so I'll split that in two parts, right? You could say Hart and Dante's success without Brunson, right? And then look where Hart and Dante are on this list. Hart, Porzingis, DiVincenzo, right? Randall, though, however, is a reach because Julius Randle was an all-star before Jalen Brunson was an all-star. Julius Randle was an all-star before Jalen Brunson even arrived in New York. If you're saying that role players benefit from a star player, that's the same thing I'm saying about Porzingis with Tatum and Brown. So to have them listed 9, 10, and 11, to me, is perfect. To me, it's perfect. If we're talking about role players benefiting off the back of star players, then Hart at 9, Porzingis at 10, DiVincenzo at 11 is perfect, in my opinion. The Randall part, though, is Randall slander. Randall was an all-star before Jalen Brunson even got here. To me, I think it's Randall slander. It's part of that thing where we inadvertently throw shots at Randall, even though Randall's a 3-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA. And did some of that have to do with Brunson? Yes. Did all of it have to do with Brunson? No. Randall's an all-star before Randall was an all-star before Jalen Brunson was even a starter in the NBA. When Randall was at the all-star game, Jalen Brunson was coming off the bench for the Dallas Mavericks. All right, player number 12. Let's do player number 12. Of all the remaining players left, right? Of all the remaining players left. So you have Boston starting 5, right? And I think it's safe to say that Mitchell Robinson slides in right here. Mitchell Robinson is better than Boston's first guy off the bench, whoever that is. Whoever Boston's first guy off the bench, Mitch is better than them. I think that's easy to say. Now, here's the other thing. Who do you prefer, Al Horford, or Deuce McBride in this spot? Right? Al Horford or Deuce McBride. Whoever you go with, I don't think we can be wrong. I'll give the nod to Al Horford here. And then I'll slide in Deuce McBride right here. Now things get interesting, right? Things get a little interesting. So we've gone through 14 players, right? And the Knicks have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 14. The Celtics have 6 out of 14. Right? And Kerry Cox, I was thinking about Precious, but Precious is not officially on the roster yet. When Precious officially is officially on the roster, then I'll start talking about Precious. But since he's not officially on the roster, I don't want to talk about him. 19 comment NYC says, where is it? Yeah, Peyton Pritchard. Right? Peyton Pritchard, right? And I'm going to give them Sam Hauser also. When you get right here, though, once you get Al Horford, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, I don't think there is another Boston Celtic on the list, right? Because their bench is shallow. Yeah, and honestly, once you get to 19 and 20, I don't even care. I don't even care when we get to 19 and 20, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie to you. But the reason why I wanted to do this is Ron says, what did you think about Porzingis' game against Dallas to start the NBA Finals? I believe he had an incredible game. He was probably, yeah. Probably. But in that top group, bro, we're talking about borderline all-stars and guys that are going to make make the all-star team and things of that sort, but that's not who Porzingis is at this point. Porzingis is, at this point, bro, Porzingis is Miles Turner. That's who he is. At this point, Kristaps Porzingis is not in the Wemby conversation like he used to be, right? Like when Porzingis was first drafted, we were like, oh my God, 7'3", can dribble the basketball. Oh, wait a minute. He's not just a shot blocker. He can shoot the three. Oh my God, Porzingis is shooting threes. Wait a minute. He dunked on Draymond Green. Porzingis is, all of that stuff is worn away now. Kristaps Porzingis is the fourth best player on a good night. He may be the second best player on a championship team, but that's on a good night. That's not every night. Right? When you talk about the top six, Tatum, Brunson, Brown, Randall, Bridges, OG, even 7 and 8, Drew and Derek White, those guys are going to contribute every single night, and it's not matchup dependent. Right? Think about this. If Porzingis was being guarded by Wemby, would Porzingis put up the same type numbers? No. He's a matchup dependent guy, right? If you have a slow big, he's going to shoot the three. Right? But what if it's a Porzingis versus somebody with a similar skill set? He's not going to eat. Jason Tatum against other 6'9" wing players is going to eat. Jalen Brunson against other diminutive scoring guards is going to score. Brown against other athletic wings is going to score or do his thing. Randall against other bully power forwards is going to be the bully power forward supreme. Mikal Bridges against other athletic wing players is going to be a dominant athletic wing player. OG Anunoby against other athletic wing defenders is going to be an athletic wing defender. Porzingis against a guy with a similar skill set is neutralized. It's neutral. It's neutral. That's just part of it. Do I like Porzingis? Yes. Is he matchup dependent? Yes. Derek White against other scrappy guards like Dante. Derek White against other scrappy guards that do similar stuff like Dante is going to win his matchup against Dante. Drew Holiday against defensive-minded point guards is still going to impact the game. Josh Hart against similar-sized, even bigger opponents can still get you triple doubles. For the love of the game is in the building. Salute. Salute, salute. So if you're asking, and listen, and I know my opinion may, depending on what other moves happen in the offseason, I reserve the right to change things as the environment changes. But right now, I don't see the Boston Celtics starting five as a dominant starting five over the Knicks. Do they have an advantage? Maybe, but it's the slightest of all advantages. Right? It's the slightest of all advantages. Right? But when it comes to the bench, the Knicks dominate them. The Knicks bench Dante, Josh Hart, Deuce McBride. They dominate Al Horford, Peyton Pritchard, and Sam Hauser. I'm sorry. To me, it's not even close. What's the center that hit the three in the finals against the The center they got from Memphis. What's the center they got from Memphis? I forgot his name. Chad, what's the center Boston got from Memphis? I see his face. I can't remember his name. You know what? Let me go to ESPN. Oh, I spelled his name wrong too. It's not Hauser. It's Holzer. Holzer. I guess it's still pronounced. Xavier Tillman, that's his name. And so Ron says, at this point, these two teams match up well. Now it's about the style of play. Can the Knicks properly defend against the three-point shot? Yep. Hey, thank you for that too, Xavier Tillman. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you, bro. We got him. So based on the information that we provided on the screen, and just one that we shared with y'all, I don't think Boston walks away from us like that. I don't think Boston walks away from the East like that. Empire State is in the building. So I'm just gonna say this. It just makes sense in my mind. I'll take this down. I'm gonna take this down. I wanted to put this up here just to show everybody what it is that we're actually dealing with, as opposed to speculation. So that's what it looks like. Is it more green than orange? I guess it depends on your color, how you see colors. I tend to see more orange than green. I tend to see more orange than green. And so what does that mean? Well, what that tells me is that if both of these teams stay healthy, Boston, the defending NBA champions, they have a great team and they have a great core. They have a great coach. They have a great culture. But I'm elevating the New York Knicks into that championship contention conversation. Will these two teams match up in the conference finals or in the playoffs? Maybe, but you don't know. Maybe, but you don't know. Maybe in the second round, Boston gets Philly. And maybe in the second round, the Knicks get a healthy Knicks team gets Indiana. Maybe in the second round of the playoffs, the Knicks, a healthy Knicks team, gets their shot, a rematch at Indiana. Maybe a healthy Knicks team gets a rematch with the Indiana Pacers. And maybe Boston plays Philly. It's just food for thought. What's the likelihood of the Knicks playing Boston in the second round? I think it's highly unlikely, right? I think either the Knicks will be the number 1 seed or the Celtics will be the number 1 seed. And in order for that to occur, that means the Knicks would have to be the 4 seed or the Celtics would have to be the 4 seed. What's the likelihood of the Knicks being the 3 seed and the Celtics being the 2 seed? That would mean another team in the conference had a better record than the Knicks and the Celtics. What's the likelihood of that? I think it's small. I don't see a team in the Eastern Conference right now going through the Eastern Conference and having a better record than the Knicks or the Celtics. Everything Knicks is in the building. Thank you for the generous contribution. Everything Nick says, an extremely sound argument. The one issue few discuss is why we're always exhausted by the start of the playoffs. That's a great, again, that right, the last part of that deserves, it's an excellent thought. But the thing about that is comments like that, you really can't speak to as a segment in a show. You have to speak to it as a show itself. And during the summer, that's the perfect time for that. Maybe it's what we can discuss tonight. Why the Knicks are always exhausted by the start of the playoffs. Maybe that's something we could talk about tonight. My immediate answer to that, though, without really doing much research, is because the Knicks can't stay healthy. And the remaining players always get overused. And then the players that were injured never return. Right? So the exhausted players, the guys that are not used to carrying the load, carry the load for 35 or 40 games. By the time they get to the playoffs, the fuel tank is on E. But before I totally commit to that, I want to research that first and see. Want to look at things like usage rate, right? Usage rate. Want to look at schedule. Is it a schedule thing? Or is it that Tom Thibodeau generally gets in his bag the last 25 games of the season? There are multiple factors at play, multiple things to discuss with that. And my preference would be to research it first and then come back with a more solid hypothesis, so to speak, as opposed to just blaming Tibbs. Maybe it's injuries, maybe it's schedule, maybe it's the way Tibbs coaches, right? Maybe it's poor roster construction. Maybe it is a byproduct of a lottery team finally getting their legs as a championship contender. There are numerous things to factor in, right? There are numerous things to factor in. Is it just Tom Thibodeau, or is it that a lottery team? We were in the lottery 2 years ago. At the end of the Kemba year, the Knicks were picking 11. So is it a byproduct of a number of things, or is it one singular thing that causes a butterfly effect on multiple things? So, but before we provide a definitive answer and point the finger, I legit think we should probably think about what it is that we want to say, add details to the conversation, and then go from there. In my opinion. And that's an excellent super chat, by the way. That's an excellent super chat, by the way. That's an excellent thought. Well thought out, well constructed. Appreciate that. A well thought out comment, statement, and question. The son of the legend, Kerry Cox, says, we just need to stay healthy and play together. I'm going to say this. So I have to spark something. I feel like it's a part of the Uncle Freezy thing. The New York Knicks are your 2025 NBA champs. And I know people are going to click away right off the, oh, he talking that nonsense. Last summer, I said the Knicks were going to win 60 games, and a lot of y'all said the same thing. And then after the fact, people came to me and said, well, you didn't know the Knicks were going to do such and such and such. And I said at that time, too, to them, you didn't know they didn't. You didn't know they wouldn't. On numerous occasions, I said the Knicks were going to win 60 games. The Knicks were going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now, was I wrong? Yes. The Knicks didn't win 60 games. They won 50. Did the Knicks go to the Eastern Conference Finals? No. They lost in the second round. So was I wrong? Yes, I was wrong on both fronts. But as the season progressed, I felt like the bandwagon I was driving that was empty slowly filled up to the point where I didn't even have room to drive anymore. I had to make multiple trips. And so when I say, as Adam Silver, congratulations, New York Knicks, or congratulations to the 2025 NBA champ, New York Knicks. I know the bandwagon will be empty, and I know people won't be on it. Right? I know people won't be on it. Right? I know people won't be on it until we start down that path, and then people will be on it. And then I'll have to make 2 or 3 trips. And so I'm going to say to my guy, JJ, usually me and JJ are synergetic. On this one, I disagree. I think anything less than the NBA Finals is a failure. Anything less than the NBA Finals is a failure. For multiple reasons. Reason number one is you don't give up 6 or so. You don't give up that many draft picks for Mikal Bridges to be the bridesmaid in your own conference. You don't make a move for Mikal Bridges to pay all of that to be the bridesmaid in your own division. You don't pay OG Anunoby what they paid OG Anunoby to be second place in your own division. It's like telling the Yankees fan, yo, I know they got Big Papi. I know they got Manny, right? I know they have the dude at second base. What's the dude? Pedroia. I know they got Pedroia at second base, right? I know they got Pedro on the mound. I know they got Johnny Damon in center field. I know that, right? Right. I know they have all the pitching in the world. But as a Yankees fan, we signed A-Rod to all this money, and we're going to be content with finishing second in the division to the Red Sox. And as a Yankees fan, y'all should probably be used to that. But I'm a Mets fan. And when we say go all in, which we rarely do, when we say go all in, we mean go all in. So the Knicks, if they go all in, when they say go all in, they mean it. And I think the Knicks are in go all in mode. The Knicks are in go all in mode right now. Right? Because they could have easily have said, yeah, OG, you asking for too much money. We'll re-sign Hartenstein, and then we'll sign Kelly Oubre and some mishmash pieces on the wing and such, and then that'll be our maintain the status quo thing. We'll let OG walk, let him get the bag somewhere else, and we'll add a bunch of wing players and see if we can keep everybody healthy. But they didn't. They went all in on OG. They went all in on Mikal Bridges. Right now, we're in the midst of watching one of the greatest calculator Olympics ever for the Knicks to find a big to come in and play on this roster, play with these guys. Right now, Leon Rose is working Brock Aller to the bone. I think Brock Aller is going to file a thing to the union the way that Leon Rose is working him right now. Eddie C is in the building. Eddie C came in and basically just what I was saying. Hey, I think the Knicks have one more ace in the hole. Right. Yep. Yeah, I think it's clear. I think it's clear that the Knicks have gone all in. I think it's clear. The Knicks have gone all in. And they're not going to go all in for the Eastern Conference Finals because that doesn't present anything at this point. At this point, this is the fifth offseason for this front office. This is the fifth offseason for this front office. And they've pushed all their chips into the center. They know Boston is young. Sam Hauser is young. Peyton Pritchard is young. Jason Tatum is young. Jaylen Brown is young. Baylor Shireman is young. They're not going to wait around. It's these next 2 years are the Knicks window. I think the next 2 to 3 years, the Knicks are going all in as hard as they can to win an NBA title. And no disrespect to Tibbs and things of that sort, but these next 3 years are crucial. At the end of these next 3 years, Tom Thibodeau will have had 7 years to win a championship. And if he doesn't, y'all feeling the rest. On that note, I'm going to get out of here, everybody. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for rocking. Thank y'all for participating with me in that exercise we did earlier, Knicks versus Celtics. I'm going to do the same thing probably tonight, Knicks versus Philadelphia. So tune in tonight. It'll probably be about 12. It'll probably be about 12. So just set your reminder for about 12 tonight so that we can have a similar conversation. Knicks fans, I'm speaking for Adam Silver. Congratulations to the 2025 NBA champ, New York Knicks. Peace, everybody.